When you file a bankruptcy, your bankruptcy is assigned to a bankruptcy administrator called a trustee. The bankruptcy trustee's job is to oversee your case, make sure that you've complied with all the rules, that you haven't broken any bankruptcy laws or any other federal laws for that matter. And at your bankruptcy hearing, they'll ask you a bunch of questions. Your bankruptcy hearing, also called a 341A meeting of creditors, is you turn in a bunch of paperwork before the hearing to the trustee. The trustee examines all that, compares it to what you filed in your bankruptcy petition and schedules and statements, and then is going to ask you some questions. Your bankruptcy hearing will probably be done via Zoom video meeting or some other video meeting platform. If you found the video helpful so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and hit that bell icon. So the questions typically are things like, did you list all of your assets? Did you list all of your debts? Has anything changed since you filed your bankruptcy? For instance, if you didn't have a job, did you get a job? If you had a job, did you lose a job? Did you get a raise? Did you turn in a car? Are you entitled to an inheritance? Or are you entitled to any money or property because somebody died, which you haven't yet received? Sometimes they'll ask if there are any errors or omissions. Basically, if there are any corrections that you need to make to your paperwork in order to make it complete and correct. Sometimes they'll ask if your name is on any real estate or real property. Real property means real estate. Sometimes they'll ask if you own any buildings or land anywhere. Even if you've listed it in your bankruptcy, sometimes they'll ask you that. If you've listed that you have a car with a car loan or a house with a home loan, they'll often ask you if you plan to keep it. Sometimes they'll ask you if you're behind on the payments. Make things easier on everybody. Answer yes or no when you can answer yes or no. Don't elaborate unless you need to, unless the question calls for it. If you can say no, just say no. Have you given away or sold any real estate in the last 4 years? Sometimes they'll ask, have you given away or sold anything worth more than $2,000 in the last 2 years? Sometimes they'll ask you if your name is on any bank account that is joint with somebody else that you forgot to put into your bankruptcy. You have to put in all bank accounts that your name is on, even if you're joint with somebody else and the somebody else is the person who uses the account, and if the somebody else is the only person who puts any money into that account, you still have to disclose that in your bankruptcy and then prove it. If that's the case though, it should be easy to prove. Sometimes they'll ask if you have used any other social security numbers in the last forever. Sometimes they'll ask if you understand that the penalties for perjury are up to 5 years in prison or up to $500,000 in fines. They want to impress on you that you are not supposed to lie during the hearing. And it's very important that you don't, because prison, even if you like the food, you probably won't like the company. Often the trustee will hold up your tax returns and say, hey, are these the tax returns that you actually filed with the IRS and with your state? Basically, they're trying to find out if you have had a lump sum of money or something like this recently that now you don't. And if that's the case, you have to disclose it and explain the details on where that money went. That's important. Be careful. If you've done something like that, don't file. If you did something like that and you filed, contact a criminal bankruptcy attorney, not me. I don't do that stuff. And mostly, it's smooth as paper and over and out. The hearings are typically very short. They do maybe 12 to 15 cases in an hour. Your moment of fame might be somewhere around 4 minutes in most cases, unless we're talking about a corporation or a dental corporation or something like this. Those will take longer and slow up the whole day.